My name is Livy Kibler, and I'm 11 years old.
I'm Morgan Daly, and I'm 12 years old.
I'm Marilyn Hallman, and I'm 86.
Today is November 6, 2018. I'm recording this interview in River Forest, Illinois, and I'm speaking with
Marilyn Hallman,
who is a member of Grace Church.
Can you tell me a little bit about your childhood? What were you like as a child?
Well, I lived in Monroe Street, right down the street. I was born in there, and I stayed there till I was 18. And then I got married, but I went to Willard School, didn't go to Grace School, and was with public school all my life, never with a church school like you children are having advantage of doing. And we didn't have all the amenities that you have. We had no TV. We played games, tag. That was our big thing with children. I roller skated a lot, something you kids probably never did, but we did all.
That's fun.
That's where we roller skated. We took them off and took them with us. Always carried a key around our neck, that kind of thing. That's what we did. We rode bikes. For entertainment, we went to Trailside Museum. That was a big deal there to see the animals, and rather than couldn't go to Brookfield, that's too big. But we couldn't get there either. But that way we could take our bikes. That was the fun thing.
Different.
And it was safe. Yeah. Everyone, that was a big thing. And I don't know what else you wanted to know.
Can you tell me about one of the most difficult moments in your life?
I think it was when my dad passed away. I was only 21, and he was only 51. And it bothered me a lot at that time. But when I had 4 children, and when they all reached that age of 51, it was very apprehensive because I thought my dad's life was over at that time, and here they are in the prime of life.
I'm sorry.
And that was very hard to take. It bring you closer to God right there, because you are minus somebody you loved. And
Just gotta trust him, right?
Yeah.
yeah, that was very difficult.
Sorry.
Changing schools was difficult. Anytime you meet new people, you're not always real want to do that, but you do. Confirmation, we had confirmation on after school here. We didn't have it during, we had it after school, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 4 until 5.
Mm-hmm.
And that's different, but 3 times a week means I had no afternoon activities at all at school because I had to go.
Sports.
Here.
Well, I play volleyball.
Yeah,
Right.
we play
Right.
volleyball.
Well, when we went to Grace, couldn't do anything. And, that's when you do things and practice and all that. So that's the way, that's the life that it was.
Back then, yeah. Tell me about a teacher or another adult that impacted your life when you were growing up.
It was my Sunday school teacher. She was a lovely woman. I knew her not before we started Sunday school, but the funny thing is that every year there was a vacancy, so she'd move up with us, and I had her every year for about 5 years. It was very funny. She filled it up, and there we were, same group of people. And the children at Grace, I wouldn't say were accepting of someone else. That's the big problem when we don't go to school. It's weird. They're them and us, that kind of thing. But she tried to have us meet. She had parties in her home so that we could get to know each other a little more. But when we sat next to her in Fellowship Hall, there were them and the teacher and me. That's really how it stayed many, many years.
Wow.
But
Not changing.
she brought us, she talked about what God did in her life. She told us the stories all the time. And she was just a lovely woman. and I stayed close to her until she passed away. So that was a long time, because it was from about second grade up that I had her, and
It's a long time.
it was a long time. Yes, it was. Yeah, it was nice, but that was a closeness that she started and developed, which is good.
How did you come to know God?
I think through the Sunday school. My mother always had me pray before I went to sleep, but that was really all that happened at home. But it was through the Sunday school and being close to church. I could walk. I lived on the corner of Monroe and Division, so I could walk to church. Didn't need anyone to drive me. Just and going every Sunday and hearing the stories was very, very. I appreciated that. And then, of course, when we went to confirmation, we always had to listen to the sermon and go to church and take notes on the sermon. And then he'd ask us on Monday what he talked about. So we had to take notes and that kind of thing. And that brings you to listen very carefully.
Yeah.
But someone at church in my confirmation class let me sit with them, because I was going to church by myself, and it's a great big church to come in and you're young like you, all by yourself and sit in church. It's sort of overwhelming, but she came with her family and they let us sit, so I was able to sit with them and be a member of their family, which made it nice for me. And they didn't mind, but at least I had someone to sit with. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's nice. It's
Yeah.
comfortable too.
What was the loneliest time of your life?
My folks had a summer home up in Michigan along the lake. Very lovely home. But I had no one my age to talk to all summer long. It was very lonely. Very lonely. There was no one there. And so, I mean, it was a wonderful place to be and everything, but there was no one to talk to.
So what did you do?
Yeah, what would you
I
do?
laid on the beach and got sunburned. And I listened to the radio. I had a portable radio, and I listened. But it was, for me, it was a lovely time, but very lonely. Very lonely for myself, to be alone and no one to talk to.
Yeah.
You can be in your thoughts.
Well, yeah.
Were you in your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts. Well, I'm not sure what I thought. I don't know if I remember at that time. I remember I was very lonely and wished I had someone to talk to. But there's always a God that I could have talked to, which is very true. You start communing with yourself. You see what God, the water and the ocean and the wind and the shells, that kind of thing you do when you're by yourself. But I just remember very, very lonely.
Oh.
And
Can you tell me about the dumbest thing you did in your life?
well, my girlfriend and I were in Roosevelt School together, 7th grade, and we had our first dance. And my folks were not going to be home and said I couldn't go. So my girlfriend and I cooked it up that I would stay at her house. And we would go together, which was fine. So we both had dressed up. First time we ever had a long dress on. It was a very important time, so we got there. And then she felt ill and went home. Called her folks and went home. But I was still feeling fine. So I didn't go home. And I just had a good time there. And not realizing what I put her mother through, because I didn't come home until when it was over, and then she had to wait up for me, and of course my girlfriend went to bed. She wasn't feeling good, and the mother had to wait for me to come. And she wasn't mad at me. She was concerned, but not mad at me. But my folks never found out. Yeah.
Funny. Do you have anything that you own that was from back in the day?
Yes, I still use the original tinsel on the trees. for the Christmas trees. We always have a real tree. I've never had an artificial tree in all the years. My folks had a real tree, and my husband and I have a tree, and now that I'm alone, I still have a tree. I buy a regular-sized tree, and I'm very happy to do that, but I have the original tinsel in the original boxes that it came in, and I carefully take it off of the tree and I carefully put it on the tree, so you use the same ones again. And I always look for that at garage sale. They'll sell it like for 10 cents a box. They want to get rid of it. To me, it's worth, I'd pay $1 for a box to get like that.
Yeah.
But I have given it to my children, boxes, because they like the tinsel too. I know people put the around the boughs and everything around it, and bows and all that. But I have only glass ornaments on mine, like from Germany. They had years ago, no plastic. And then I have the tinsel, and I have the old-fashioned lights that they have. You have all the little lights. I have big lights on my tree. And there are still places that sell them. If you're in Western Springs, they still have places that sell the old ones, because we're all older and that's what we have. And but that is old. Can't think what else is. I have an old chair that come down through the family.
Wow.
And that I have in my room. And I have some things from some other relatives. I have that too. I still use the old Fiestaware in dishes. I don't know, it come out again, but I have the old Fiestaware. I was brought up on it, so you know it was since in the 80s. I was 80, and we have and then my mother put it away and got the apple pattern, and that was years ago from Francisca. And then we had that, but she put away these other. So then, when my mother had the summer home, she put all the Fiestaware there, and we had that for all summer long, all to use for dishes. And then when we sold the house, I said, I want the Fiestaware again. And she said, but you have to sell the house with dishes. And I said, I've got some dishes I'll give you. I want the Fiestaware. So I still have the Fiestaware all these years. And they came out with it again.